This is a long-awaited Bible for some of you wanting me to look at this because of the translation. It is the Modern English Version. I'm not going to get into the translation itself much in this video, but I do plan to have a video that will be available talking more about this translation in detail. What I wanted to show you, though, is one of the editions that was kindly sent to me by the, I think, editor of this Bible, James Lindsay, worked it out with me to have this sent. Really appreciate them sending me this copy for review. And they have different editions available, different formats and sizes. But what we're looking at here is the personal size large print edition, which I got to be honest, this is one of my favorite sizes and styles of Bible because you can hold it easily, and yet, as the front indicates here, it is a large print, so it's going to be a nice, good size print. I really like that. It is a two-piece box that this comes in. One thing I'll note about the translation here is they did really try to get different endorsements for the translation because it is a pretty new translation. And you get here a little bit of an indication of what the print is going to be like on the inside. Here's the ISBN number, and this cover that we're looking at is called Cherry Brown. So that two-piece box has a good look to it, and I like the window in the front. Lets you see what's inside there a little bit. And this cherry brown cover, it's a synthetic leather material or imitation leather material. And my opinion of this is it has a very classy look to it. I like the stamping on the front here, that blind stamping design. I think that looks great with Holy Bible. And on the spine here, I think you have a very, very elegant looking design with the print there. I think that's very classy looking. So beautiful look to that cherry brown. And cherry brown is just beautiful. It's that deep, rich color. So I think it has kind of a sophisticated, high quality look, even though it is imitation leather. So it's not going to be, really expensive. It has one ribbon. That's one thing some people will, I'm sure, complain about because they want at least 2 ribbons in their Bible. So future editions maybe will have more, but it is a double-sided sheen. So both sides have that sheen to it. And it's angle cut, kind of a burgundy color, I would say. The head and tail bands also are that reddish color, burgundy color. Then it also has what I would call a rose gold gilt on the page edges. Now, I always put a disclaimer on my color indications. When I say what a color is, I'm giving my best guess. So you can look at that and see, but I do think that that is kind of a rose gold look to that. As we get inside here, it is a paper paste down liner. Now, for some people, that is something they would rather see, like a synthetic material. But this is going to be, again, a more affordable option. I think that's the idea here. So it does have paper, which that is something that, with a higher end Bible and maybe spending more money, you would see something else other than paper. But I think, for what it is, it's fine, it's good, and many Bibles are constructed like this. It's a cardstock end sheet here, and then some glossy cardstock blank pages. And then you have a glossy cardstock presentation page. Title page for the Bible. The publisher title page. This is published by Passio. And looking at the copyright here, it gives you all the information. Published by Passio, which is Charisma Media, Charisma House Book Group. When you get to the bottom, you see it is printed in China. And this was a first printing, I believe, from 2015. Here's the contents. Has a dedication to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and I believe that they were trying really to carry on the legacy of the King James with this, and so they have a dedication here to the Queen of England, who is now the late Queen of England. Preface to the reader. I like that, this being a large print, that even the preface is in large print. Sometimes they neglect that. They'll have large print Bible text, and then a lot of other stuff is not large print, which if you need large print, you need it all to be large print. So that's something I wish publishers would keep in mind. Even with the back material, which we'll take a look at later. Here's the Committee on Bible Translation. Personally, I really like when they include this information. I think it really indicates transparency, that you are telling people who was involved in the project and what their backgrounds are. And even though they don't necessarily give the background here, you could look these people up and find out their background. So that's good. And then you have the Old Testament title page. And one thing I will say about this translation as we get into it, you got a book introduction here. Just a very simple paragraph telling about the book of the Bible. This translation is an update of the King James, and it's very consciously an update of the King James Version. So I'll talk about it in more depth in another video, but if you like the King James Version, you respect it, you trust it a lot, this version is designed to really springboard off of that and yet be a modern sounding, modern wording translation, which can be very helpful for understandability, readability, and sharing God's Word with others. So it is a double column paragraph format, but it is a good size print. Personal size, it's kind of, to me, what some people call mid-size. It's like that 8.5 by 5.5 page size, roughly speaking. But it's definitely something you can carry with you easily and still have this nice large font. The verse numbers are not bold. They're superscript, so maybe a little bit hard to find, but you can see where the verse numbers are. And you do have some minimal footnotes at the bottom of the page. This one is not a reference Bible, so it's really just a read-through text Bible, or something to bring with you to church or Bible study, or as I said, just to read through the Bible. And with this size font, I think it's pretty easy on the eyes for most people. The one weakness would be maybe the ghosting, especially in poetry. The ghosting isn't horrible, though. I'm not trying to say that it's horrible. I just want you to know that if there's anything I would say that could be improved, it's maybe using a better opacity paper. But honestly, there are way worse Bibles than this. For sure. Especially for something that's supposed to be kind of more economical in price. So not too bad. Let's get to the end of the Old Testament. And I do like that they have these book introductions. Just a nice little extra feature to help orient you to the book of the Bible that you're about to read. Then when we get to the New Testament, you have the New Testament title page. Of course, another book introduction. And looking at the words of Christ, they are in red letter. It is kind of a bright red. Maybe not as bright as something like an older Thompson chain, although I got to be honest, it's kind of along that lines a little bit. And so that's going to be something that some people just don't like that as much. But it doesn't look too washed out. I think overall it's printed pretty well. But I think an improvement here would be to go with a richer, darker red in future printings. So I would say kind of a C plus maybe on the red letter. But that's always hard to get perfectly right although publishers have been doing better and better with that, in my opinion, in recent years. As we get through the Bible here, after the biblical text, you have a concordance. And, you know, I was commenting about how the size of the print should be more uniform throughout. I would say, yeah, this is a little bit on the small side, but it isn't as small as a lot of concordances. So I think they were trying to go with something that wasn't too small, but it's kind of pushing it. If you do need a large print, this isn't the largest print in the back here by any means, but it's okay. It's nice that it does have a concordance if you need to use that some. And after the concordance, you just have some Bible paper here, blank Bible sheet. I think it's just one sheet here, and then that cardstock. I mentioned before that it was kind of glossy. At least in the back here, this doesn't seem glossy to me. So you have a few of those cardstock pages that are blank, and then the end sheet paste down liner. In the front here, yeah, I don't know if they're different. These ones feel glossier to me than the ones in the back. So that's kind of interesting. But you know what? You're more likely, I think, to write in the back. So that's kind of a good thing. The presentation page, though, is glossy cardstock. So you have to be careful when you first write in it. Make sure the ink dries when you have that glossy cardstock. But very nice looking. And, you know, this whole Bible, I think they did a very good job with it. It's a China print. It's very simple. Very overall economical. But it really does the job. Comes in that nice two-piece box. So I think if you're looking for something that is in the line of the King James Version and is even really based on the Textus Receptus and need a nice read-through Bible, something you can carry with you as well, this is a great option. If you have any questions or comments about this, I'd love to see that in the comment section below. But thank you so much for taking a look at this with me from a fish perspective.